right, welcome back. Route 30 podcast. Of course, it's me, Scottie B. I'm here with my guy. You know what I call him. This is Mr. Two-Time, right?
The champ is here. Yes, sir. You got it right, 2-time.
Yeah, I'm a champ too.
Talk about it.
I don't know what I'm a champion now. I'm a life champion with a champion mindset. How about that?
We all champions, champ.
Oh, speaking of champions, speaking of Two-Time, we got some guests here. Talk about our guests. What's that?
So we have Larry and Larry Jr.
Larry
the
and
twins.
Larry Jr.
Hence why they call me, what's again?
Not one, but
two times.
Perfect. All right. Of course, you see we got our merch.
Oh, you see it. Got to. Gotta have the merch now.
Route30consulting.com. We're going to put
it
it here. Make sure you get your merch. If you want to feel like a champion, if you want to be a champion, it starts. What did Dion say? You look good.
Feel good.
You play good.
And they pay you good.
Exactly. So this is where you should start. Start here. Route30consulting.com. And of course, it's me, Scottie B. I'm back, but you were gone for a little, right?
Yeah, I just got back.
You just got back. Where were you and what were you doing?
So I was with Team USA. We had the AmeriCup qualifiers.
Okay.
And we did what we were supposed to do. We had 2 games to win. We won 2 games in Puerto Rico and in the Bahamas. And we qualified for the 2025 AmeriCup Championships that'll be in Nicaragua this summer.
Hit the applause. Somebody hit the applause. Applause my guy for that. All right, thank you. So watch out for that and make sure you root for Team USA. Even if you're not from USA, please root for us. You feel me? But on today's episode, of course, we spoke about sacrifice. All right, and we have to speak about the second pillar. First of all, there's 3 pillars that we're always going to tell you guys about. We got our sacrifice, give back, and inspire. Make sure you do that. That is definitely part of the champion mindset. All right, but today we want to speak about the give back portion, right?
Absolutely,
okay.
Absolutely.
All right, so
it's a key pillar, bro.
Exactly. So when you speak about all these pillars, what inspired you to add the give back part on there?
Well, when I sat back and looked at the success that I've had in my life, I always like to break things down in 3s. Mm-hmm. And there were 3 things that were always constant in my success, no matter at what level I was at. And that's how I came up with the 3 pillars that represent Route 30. There was always a sacrifice made, mm-hmm. whether it was somebody, sacrificing their money or their time, or I had to sacrifice effort, mm-hmm. And sacrifice lifestyle. Mm-hmm. There was always someone that was giving back, helping, doing something that they didn't have to do, giving back to the community. The coaches at the YMCA and things like that, they don't get paid.
Not at all.
They're giving back just to help. And, you see the uniforms that we used to have, 5th and 6th grade, those were by donation. People donated,
right.
So someone always was giving back, pouring into me and the community, and then inspired. I was inspired. Mm-hmm. And so those were the 3 pillars that made up my life. And so we already talked about sacrifice. Today we got to talk about what giving back and what it means.
Right. Now, throughout your life, people have given back to you. People have given to me. Can you think of a time that someone did come and give back and how it changed you?
Yeah. So when I think about giving back, it's not always like in a formal sense. Mm-hmm. Obviously, it can be in a formal sense. So to answer your question, yes, I remember working out at the YMCA one time with a local legend, Mark Baker.
Oh yeah, we know Mark.
Shout out to Mark. He played on the first Dayton Dunbar state championship team. Went to Ohio State. He didn't have to play ball with me and shoot with me and gave me some nuggets. He didn't have to do that, but that was just his way of giving back. Even though I have a big family. I had like 8 or 9 uncles. So
big family.
My uncles, though, used to come back and give free game to local coaches. They would, give local players scholarships to come to their university. So that was a way of giving back. They didn't have to do that. They went out their way. But for me, the most influential way of giving back was just showing up, being there. Mm-hmm. And that's what I try to do now. Whenever I have free time, I just show up to my local high school. I just show up to Cleveland State and I'm a presence. That's my way of giving back, to show them like, hey, you can make it.
Yeah, man.
I was you, you was me. And I think for me, that's the most authentic way to give back is through your presence.
Right. And as far as, we speak about, actually today, me and you went to a school and you spoke to a team, right?
Yes.
And then I can think about me coaching kids or me working out kids and me coaching my son and helping out others. And that kind of makes me want to give a shout out to who we had growing up, which is Coach Billy Winters.
Coach Bill Winters, shout out Coach.
Right, and that was a very important time for us because that instilled, toughness in us. He taught us a lot. We had discipline.
Yes.
We
learn how to compete at the highest level.
I learned resilience. I learned getting over humps, meaning, things aren't going well. I learned to kind of get over and persevere through that. And I learned it from him. And I don't know if Coach Billy got paid for that. And we were traveling everywhere.
Right.
He was with us every day.
Somebody was giving back. Somebody was donating.
Right.
Somebody was doing something.
Right. But shout out to all them because that definitely played a big part in where I am in life and where you definitely got in life too. Are those type of people.
That was a super pause moment.
What was a super pause moment? Getting over the hump?
Somebody was giving back.
Somebody was giving back. See, you be having these pause moments that I don't know if they be pause for real.
Okay.
Somebody was giving back. Like somebody was giving they back up.
Bruh, see that,
but that's a pause.
Y'all always got to go too far, man.
But that's the pause.
Shout out to Coach Winters, man.
All right, yeah. Shout out.
You're sick. Bro.
Now, I ain't sick. But, all right. Now, one thing I'll say is to kind of go into later on in life, you've been a part of locker rooms too.
Yes.
Which once you reach a certain level that you were at, I think everyone kind of has a way that they want to give back. Any type of those players. Were you inspired by some of them? What were those conversations like? Maybe in like the Heat locker rooms, as far as you guys having charity, or you guys helping give back.
Well, man, it was a lot of charity events, but one of the most influential guys that poured into me as far as like giving me free game was Juwan Howard.
Yeah,
shout out to the OG Juwan Howard. My first week there, he picked me up, take me to practice every day until I got my car shipped down there, and he gave me a lot of free game about how to be a professional, how to navigate the challenges that I hadn't even been through any yet. He was just giving me the game before I got in the game, and so. To me, I love that aspect of giving back. And then, of course, he was with Brand Jordan. So because I was a good rookie and I listened and, I applied, anytime some exclusives was coming out, if I wanted a pair, I could ask him like, hey, OG, can I get that new pack that's coming out? Boom, boom, boom. And then he'd be like, yeah, I got you. And I never asked when it was going to be there. But I would show up a random day in practice. I had 2 or 3 Jordan boxes. Boom, boom, boom. So he was giving me free game, and he also came bearing gifts.
OG, Mr. Juwan Howard, Mr. Fat Five, Mr. Coach. Here at the Route 30 podcast, we like Brand Jordan too. I wear a size 11.5. He wears a size 11.5.
I wear a size 12.
No, don't try to be above me.
I wear a size 12.
You got shoes today. What size were they?
What size shoes do I have on right now?
You got on 2 pairs of socks. Got on 2 pairs of socks. Anyway,
and those were some boots that I had earlier today. That's why I had to get them a half size smaller.
Okay, well, OG, light skin to light skin. Jordan Brand. Let's just keep it, you and I, 11.5. Anything, really anything. But yeah, I want to actually go back. You said he gave you game. You got anything that you can share, any tidbit, anything that'll help them out there? Because we all know how influential Mr. Juwan Howard is.
Yeah, so this is only to a particular crowd. So for those of you who are out there blessed to make money, NIL, or you're a young pro, you're just entering the pros, he told me, don't try to keep up with the Joneses. And for those who don't know what that means don't try to buy what everybody else buys. Don't try to get what everybody else gets. If everybody walking here with a Rolex on, don't feel like you got to go buy you a Rolex. Cause everybody pull up in Rolls Royces, Ferraris, and things like that. That don't mean that you have to, and that's key to an athlete because sometimes people watching what other people have and they like, man, I want that. I need to have that. And if you do that in the NBA or in the NFL or professional baseball or any other sport where people are getting paid and you try to keep up with the Joneses, that's the quickest way to go broke. Because one, it's not always what it seems. A person might have, he pulling up in different cars. You don't even know he got a car deal. Two, he might be like how Juwan was in his 17th season, and it was my first season. So he didn't put 7 contracts worth of money. He can buy certain cars. I can't do that, or I shouldn't do that. Yeah, and so, that's one thing he said. He said, don't try to keep up with the Joneses. Be you. If you a casual person, be casual. If you like certain things, it's cool, but moderation. If it's something that you like, wait till second or third or fourth year, because it's new cars and new watches coming out every year. He's like, wait, save up your money before you just go out there and be trying to buy a bunch of things. And so that's the first thing he told me. He said, don't try to keep up with the Joneses, which I'm a little bit.
You were like that.
I'm a little bit cheap anyway.
Right.
But he reinforced it to
he
like
had to tell me.
Yeah.
Hey, dog.
But it reinforced that. So I always made sure, like, man, I don't care what car he pull up in, because he had the best car game. For sure, Juwan had the best car game. But I don't care what car I see pull up in this heat driveway, I'm staying in my lane. I don't care what jewelry, what clothes. That's when, red bottoms was really hot. Everybody's wearing a Christian Louis Vuitton red bottom with the diamonds and all that. Man, hey, listen, I can't afford to buy no $900 shoes. I'm a rookie. I don't have no money. And so that was the best game he gave me as a rookie coming from Cleveland State.
It wasn't worth it anyway.
Yeah, well.
But shout out to him for giving that game. Now, as far as, of course, you got OGs like him, and you have, that locker room that you were in. Do you feel like once you get to that certain level, do you feel like guys, I won't say guys like him, but the guys who make it, you think they have an obligation to kind of go back and give back? You kind of think everyone should?
When you say obligation, it's maybe
kind of
not,
like an each one teach one. Like, hey man,
to me, you know how I feel.
Yeah.
Just for me personally, I like to go back and get free game. I like to come back to Dayton. I like to go back to Cleveland State. I like to go back to Miami. I like to go back to different places that have had an impact on my life and help that community out. So for me, it's not so much an obligation as it's a way for me to show appreciation. That's why I give back. Like, I'm being intentional about going back and giving and setting things up and giving donations and giving my time and resources to certain people in certain communities. So I wouldn't say it's an obligation, because, you're really only obligated to take care of you and your family, honestly. But to me, I like to take care of my communities, the people who have helped me. And so that's my preference to do that. But I wouldn't be mad at a guy if he was like, man, hey, I'm just taking care of me and mine. I don't blame him for that either, but that's just not how I am.
All right. Well, I get that. And now I feel like we need to give something back. You feel me?
Yes, sir.
And we got fans, and we got people listening and people watching. What's something right now, and I'm gonna give my input too. What's something right now that you can give back as far as people who wants to reach a certain level of success in life? What's like a tidbit or some game right now that you can give them?
We live in an era right now where information is free. A lot of it. This phone right here, that phone you got, the camera that's recording right now, it has Wi-Fi and internet on it. There's a such thing now called Google.
They got AI, they got ChatGPT.
They have chat,
but
I'm trying to give back, bro. You got Google. They got this thing called YouTube.
For sure.
YouTube University graduates all. ChatGPT, AI, like you said, and there's a whole plethora of other apps out there. To all of those athletes, all of those career-driven individuals out there, if it's something that you want to learn how to do, use your phone. use your laptop, use your pads, your iPads, use all of those things to search what it is that you want to do. You have to have an education or a knowledge base in order to have good skills. So that's the first game I would give. Second, I would say read. Now, I get everybody's not a strong reader, but you have what you call audiobooks now.
Yes.
You also have video books now.
You got
Where
all the
you got
books
it all type of books. So if you're a reader, go buy a book and read chapters. If
Get off the Facebooks.
you know, if you're not a strong reader, but you can listen to audiobooks, and then you also have audiobooks with visual. So read. One of my favorite books that I read that changed my life, John Maxwell book, Talent is Never Enough. That book, you know, Coach Waters, he gave me free game. That changed my life forever. And I'm still living by some of the lessons in that book. So I read, and I would have never known that if I didn't read. So use the technology that we have and read. That's some free game I can give you right now.
That is free game. And for me, my free game, if you listen up, it would be one of our pillars, the sacrifice. Well, I don't, everybody listen up. You have goals you want to get to a certain level. Please figure out what's some things that you can sacrifice to get you there. What are some things in your life that could be taken away from you getting to your goal? What are some things that are a distraction? I would definitely tell you to get some discipline and write down and really get into your goals and figure out what you can sacrifice to get there. And that's the word that I want to say. It's just sacrifice. Because once I learned to take some things out and what to add in when I take those things out to get me to my greater goal, life changed. So if I'm going to give some game, figure out something to sacrifice and take away and add something new in there. Add maybe reading, just like my guy said. Add maybe working on yourself, audiobooks, YouTube University. You know, there's a thing, TikTok University too. But something that's going to elevate you and then take out things. And then you can also do it with your body, food and nutrition. What are you sacrificing
health.
as far as,
Goodness.
you know, him and we don't really do the fast food. We don't really
health
do.
is wealth, bro.
Exactly. So what are you going to sacrifice in all aspects of your life? And I would say you would take your mind, your body, your spirit, and figure out things that you can sacrifice and take out and add other things to elevate you. And that's the game that I definitely want to give back, because once I figured that out, it definitely changed how I look, how I think, and everything else. And just think big. That's a game I'm gonna give you too. Think big. There's a magic in thinking big. All right. Matter of fact, and go get that book, The Magic of Thinking Big. It's gonna change you too. So do that, because it took me a little bit longer in life to realize how big that was. Growing up with this young man right here, we actually had a talk today in the car where it was like, my goal was, hey, I know I'm very good at basketball. I'm gonna go to college for free.
For sure.
That's just what I thought. I'm gonna go to college. I'm gonna do my thing, and it's great. You know, if you guys in the past times that we spoke, when he was younger, he said he wanted to go to the league, but that was his thought. He had a thought of thinking big, and that's not what people do all the time. But he thought it, and he put in the work to go with it. Because once you can put something, you know, a seed in your mind, what's going to happen is that will begin to grow. And that's what happened with him, and even me. I don't want to downplay.
I'm about to say, don't downplay yourself, bro.
I don't want to.
Because getting a scholarship is big time.
Right, but it just feels. There's a lot of things that I do that feels like a normal thing, just because of our circle and who I'm. You know,
Right,
it feels
right,
like
right.
I was supposed to do.
The circle of lions, for sure.
Right, I'm supposed to be good. I'm supposed to be smart. I'm supposed to be.
Yeah,
able to
but
speak.
you wasn't normal, bro.
Right, I know.
Don't forget, you was.
Yeah,
let's
not normal.
recap from episode 1. You're in the Hall of Fame, bro. You're in the Chaminade Julian Hall of Fame.
Prestigious too, Chaminade.
Yeah, it's a prestigious private school in Dayton, for those who don't know. Like, so you're in the house, so you're not.
You're
normal,
right. I did
bro.
leave college top 25
Yeah,
all time.
yeah. Stop
scoring.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I was
Okay.
teaching basketball camps in Houston.
Yeah,
I was doing a lot. You know what?
So
right.
you was thinking big, bro.
Right.
What you talk about?
I was. It just felt real
It's just,
normal
you know,
to me.
Yeah, and it's levels to it. You know, it's levels to it.
It is. Now, one thing that, you know, we were at your crib today. Well, your parents. And you had this. You showed me your favorite trophy, right? Mm-hmm. And it was more so you got an award for being an all around person, not so much an athletic, but it was for being an all around person.
Yeah.
All right. How has how has giving back kind of shaped you, or how's your mind got different as far as giving back, like beyond the game of basketball, like what other as maybe business or maybe just helping people out? How is your mind with giving back beyond the game of basketball?
Well, with that trophy you're talking about, I can share it with them.
Yeah, do that.
So it's the Southwest Ohio District Student Athlete of the Year.
Right.
And so, my upbringing was never totally about sports. Sports didn't become like my main priority until like college, and later in college. So growing up, it was a balance of community, school, recreation, which was the sport part, and then you also know the spiritual side with church. So, my parents, had sections of my life that had to be crossed out. It wasn't play basketball all day. It wasn't do schoolwork all day. It wasn't be at church all day. It was a collection of things that made me who I was and helped me to have the self-esteem that I have. And so I would say the impact of giving back, in Dayton public schools, it's not, no offense, it's nothing against private schools, but like we're state funded, our county, we have to share money. Nobody just donates to Dunbar per se. We have share all of our funds with all of the schools. And so you just learn to take what you have and make the most of it. And so when people would give us things, when someone would sponsor a uniform for us or give us shoes or sponsor us with shoes and things of that nature, but that was a big deal. And so as I begin to climb and have some success, I never forgot about those people that donated to help us. And so I was like, man, when I get a chance to do that, I'm going to do it, because I know that there are kids out there who maybe don't have the resources and they need the help. They need it. And some of them may never be in a position to ask me personally. So they're not going to have to ask me. I'm going to volunteer. I'm going to show up and, hey, superintendent, Dayton Public School, how can I, how can I help you? How can I be of service? And I show up to my high school, Coach Tony, who was a classmate of mine. What's up, TD? Can I holler at the team today? Oh yeah, blow the big whistle. Sit down, and just random, not no like big talk. It was just I'm in Dayton. I'm gonna show up to my high school and I'm gonna go talk to those guys, and if I have something to give them. Hey man, I like that. Oh, you like that, man? Huh, bro, you can have it. Because I know what it was like when people from the past would show up and give us stuff. It was just like, bro, man, you know what that is? Man, he got a scholarship. I heard of him. His picture is up at Welcome Stadium. I know who that is. That's Big Daddy Dan Wilkerson right there, the number 1 draft pick in the NFL. He donated a whole weight room for us at Dunbar. And so I'm like, man, one day when I get a chance to help, I'm going to do that, because people need it. And some people may have too much pride to ask. Some people may never be in a position to ask. And some people may not even know that they need help. When you live in a certain place, your mind can't even think outside of that. And so that's where sometimes I come into play. I'm like, hey, there's a bigger world out here than Dayton. You can live Columbus. You can live in Cleveland. You can live in Spain. You can live in Spain. You don't have to live in Dayton. And sometimes kids need to hear that. Like, I've lived all over the world. I'm from where you from, but I've lived all over the world. You can too. And they need to hear that. And so, but somebody has to be willing to give their time and effort back to do that. And so that's why that's so important to me, because sometimes people need help and they don't know they need help.
True. And that makes me want to highlight, growing up, people who gave back. As far as me, people who helped me with that dream. So when I talk about thinking big, I grew up, of course, here in Dayton. I grew up with you, but I also had a long time where I spent a long time in Houston. Mm-hmm. So back then, if you guys remember, of course, back-to-back champs, the Houston Rockets, 94-95. What it was...
The Dream!
Yeah.
Shout out to the Dream.
So, of course, I played against Dream at Lifetime. Shout out to that. But no, I want to highlight someone who actually gave me a bunch of inspiration, and that's Kenny Smith. He was the point guard.
The Jet.
So, yeah, back when I was younger, I used to be like that. So I was the MVP of his camp, him and his brother Vincent Smith. And what they did was I was younger, and I still won the MVP, but he put me on his all-star team. And I used to roll around. I was with his brother for a little bit, Vincent. Shout out to Tyleek Brown. He used to be the point guard at UConn. He was my coach, and he helped me with some stuff when I was younger too. But what happened was I saw Kenny Smith doing these drills, and he was teaching me drills, and I'm like, oh, that's what it's supposed to be like. So as a kid, seeing someone on his level, now of course, you know, I had some games, so of course he wanted to pour into me. So he definitely that's not a pause moment either.
Bro,
I know you was thinking,
no, I'm not. We having serious talk right now.
because you ready to do pause. No, he was ready to pour some game into me.
See, got yourself in trouble.
And he was teaching me drills that I had never seen before. And then I took that, went back home, and I really felt inspired. So that was definitely something that Kenny, you know, shout out to the Jet, you know.
Shout out to Kenny Jet Smith for inspiring my brother.
For doing that. Now, I didn't want to run like him. I want my legs to be straight, but that's not,
Right.
You still my guy.
Yeah, but he can still dunk, you know,
You still
crazy.
my guy, Jet. Oh, yeah. I used to, and a matter of fact, I used to lower the rims when I was younger and do the dunk when he was at the free throw line, throw it between his legs off the backboard. Yeah.
Oh, Kenny Jet Smith really inspired you then, for sure.
Exactly.
Man, but this, dang, he gave back and inspired you. He all three pillars.
All that, and he could shoot that thing.
Well, that's what he do.
It's just
that's what he really do.
Yeah, it's just one thing. I am a Duke Blue Devil, and he is a Tar Heel, so we're just gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Yeah.
Now you talk about Big Daddy. That
Dan
could be a
Wilkerson.
pause moment, but anyway.
No, that's his name. Everybody know who he is. Everybody in Dayton know.
Daddy. No, I'm joking. Come here, Big Daddy.
I'm not about to laugh about that because
I mean, I know
he the
who
GOAT.
He is.
I'm about to say he the
It's
GOAT of Dunbar High School.
Okay.
#1 overall draft pick, Big Daddy Dan Wilkerson, bro.
Okay. Now
Went to Ohio State, all Big Ten, still got records and all that, bro.
keep it going.
Yeah.
Now, as far as, of course, that was someone giving game to me. Have you ever? Can you name a time or just talk to me about if you've given back and you figured out something about yourself? Like you were taught something by giving back that actually helped you. Yeah, man. Just go. You never know with this microphone on. You gonna talk. We don't know. It might be a moment.
You talking crazy right now.
It might be a moment. But has it ever taught you something about yourself? Because I can give you a time. Me with these kids, it taught me patience. Okay, maybe I do have more patience than I do have. Maybe I do have this passion. Because I changed professions once I started, working out kids and giving back to them. I'm like, wait a minute, I think this is something that I'm gonna do.
I will say, the times that I have, given back to different organizations, different communities, I learned that basketball is only one of my gifts.
Ooh, that's good.
Basketball is a talent of mine, but connecting with people and connecting specifically with the youth is really like my passion and my gift, and it's something that I'm naturally good at because the youth naturally gravitate to me, bro. Mm-hmm. You see how when we're out and around, how it's like a magnet, like they naturally gravitate to me. And partly that may be because I'm what they aspire to be. I went to school, Division I, to play basketball. Sure. I became a pro. So I use basketball as a way to get their attention, to tell them what they really need to know. So I learned that basketball is a talent of mine, it's a skill of mine, but really connecting with people and giving them information is really like probably what I'm best at, and so that's what I learned about myself. And it really makes me feel good when I help someone, but it didn't cost them anything. That makes me feel really good. Like scoring feels great, making money feels great, buying things, helping my family obviously financially and stuff like that feels great. But like to tell a kid something and see him listen and then see him go apply it and he sees that it works and the look of gratification that kid has, to me that did something to me. And so it's like, man, I want to replicate that over and over and over again. And that's what keeps driving me. Like, if I can help as many kids as I can, bro. And it don't necessarily have to be kids, because adults need help too, especially young adults. But specifically, when you help kids, bro, they never forget. I haven't forgotten no person that has came back and gave me their free time and helped me out. Randomly I think of a person like, man, it's been a while since I've seen them or heard of them, but I haven't forgot about it. I remember what they did. I remember the volunteer coaches and stuff like that from all the youth organizations that I played for. I remember, when the teacher would have volunteers come in or old alumni would come in and things like that and talk. I remember that. I remember being Mr. Bo and, people had to buy ads and stuff like that. I mean, I remember some of the people, that was buying the ads for me and, talking on my behalf and things of that nature. I remember all that. Shout out to Dr. Klosterman. Matter of fact, Dr. K, he was one of the guys in the community, a big time doctor in our city, really in our state. He's one of the biggest doctors in the state. It's funny. He became one of my neighbors.
That's what's up.
So, but since I was in 7th grade, I've been knowing him since I was in 7th grade, bro. And he's always vouched for me and always donated and gave time to me and some of my teammates and stuff like that. And so it's the most special thing ever when you give a kid advice. He takes that advice, he goes, applies it, and it works. And he's like, he looks at you and he's so satisfied. Like, man, you told me to do that, man. I did it. It worked, coach. Right. It worked. And I was like, yeah, man. That's the dopest thing ever to me. So that's what I learned about myself.
It's that, and one thing I also learned is I love giving others confidence. It was normal to me. If you meet my mom and my dad,
You're a confident kid.
Yeah, I was born with confidence because I really think you can do whatever. And it took me a while to figure out other people didn't really have that thought. Like it doesn't matter if it takes time or how much time it takes, but plenty of things are just confidence. If you believe that you can do something, just go out and do it. So my thing was just feeling like once I told someone, a kid, even adults, you got to change your mindset. You can do that. But if you say you can't, you're actually right too.
Whether you believe you can or believe you can't, you're right.
Correct. So my thing is just instilling confidence in people. Like, hey, you can go do it. And kind of having it rub off on others. I think if you're, in my presence, in your presence, it's kind of like, they feel like they can do.
Yeah, you have that effect for sure, bro.
Yeah, you feel like
you're contagious.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm contagious. That's what's up. But it's like, no, really, I will really look at someone and be like, hey, yes, you can do that. And then I ask them a question. Who told you that you can't? Who told you that? Did you just come up with that yourself? Yes. All right, you just lied to yourself. Yes, you can.
Exactly.
So I think that's a big thing.
Now y'all see why I hang around this guy, man. I'm a pretty confident guy too. But this guy right here.
Because you can't. I think it comes from wins in life also, meaning I gain a lot of confidence by trying things, persevering and winning at something, or figuring out like, oh, I actually can't do that. Standing up in front of a big crowd and you can, I told somebody recently when they were like, I can't do this or that. And I'm like, all right, it sounds like stage fright when you can't make a video or stand in front of people. And I try to tell that person, like, what do you feel? Well, I feel this in my throat. I feel this. I feel my heart beating. And I say, you see what I can do, right? I feel the same things. But fear is not real. You know what I'm saying? Fear is, and that's what I try to give back to that person. Fear is not real. Just do it. Just talk. Just speak. Because even the best of the best, they feel that too. I'm sure... matter of fact, I'm going to just say it's probably not the truth. I'm sure there are some times you might have gotten on that court and you felt a little nerves. Maybe?
It's been a long time since I've been nervous.
Right, but I'm saying you felt a little nerves, but you do it anyway.
You have to do it anyway.
You do it scared. Not saying we were scared, but you do things scared. You do things even when you have that feeling.
That's a fact.
So it's just, I want to always instill confidence in people that you can do it. Even the people that you see at the
highest achievers,
of the height,
for sure.
They had those feelings too. But one of your old teammates actually gave a shout out to Ray. Shout out to Jesus Shuttlesworth, Trey 4.
Absolutely.
He said confidence comes in the preparation.
That's a fact.
They always speak about how he's shooting shots when the cheerleaders are dancing. He's in there when the lights
are
off. He's
so early, bro. He's there like 4 hours before the game, bro.
Right. And then we speak about the shot against the Spurs with the toes,
Yeah,
and he's
sir.
like
Saved our championship.
And people, right? And you in the background jumping. You in the background. I love that part.
Vertical leap was elite. Okay.
You feel me? Shout out to Trey for saving that championship. So he got one of these.
For
one
sure.
of those is from Trey
For
Ford.
sure.
But I love hearing the story about. He's always practiced that. So it was like muscle memory as far as he caught that ball. He was already on his toes and he was in the corner. But his confidence comes in the preparation. So, I try to tell people that too. If you feel something, did you prepare how you were supposed to? Yes or no? And that's something I give back too. You got to, like you said, the players are there 4 hours before the game, right?
Absolutely.
All right, you got coach.
Well, I'm not there. I'm there about 3 hours. Ray's there 4 hours, bro. That's kind of that's why at the time. That's why he was the best shooter of all time.
Yeah, well, I mean, he still is. It's just there's this guy named Steph.
I'm about
He
to say,
still is one of them.
Yeah, but I said at the time he was considered the best shooter of all time.
Okay.
That's why I preference at the time because we all know that
Yeah, shout out.
It's so Steph-less.
Yeah, shout out to Steph. We're gonna have you come talk to us.
For sure, you have to be on the Route 30 podcast because
Because you're the second best 30, because the first one is right here. And if you want to dispute that, you're going to have to come and talk to us about it. Because
yeah, we can talk about that.
I do love
Shout out to Steph, though.
Anyway, but, one thing that I know is there is, what year are you now professionally?
This is my 14th year.
14th year professionally.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll say we're probably on the backside. And I don't. Is that a pause moment too,
bro? Listen,
you're
wild today. We're getting towards the end. Yes, we are. We're getting towards. We're closer to the end than we are the beginning.
Yeah, the backside. Anyway. Anyway, no. So now I think time. You are very diligent and you're really a pro in what you do. But now that time is we're on the back end. I can still say that.
Yeah.
What does the next coming years look like? I don't want to say 5 to 10, but what does it look like now as far as giving back? With your time, or what are some things that you want to do with that?
Well, being a veteran, longevity is a lesson in and of itself. Being able to last this long, it's a testament that you're doing something right, and so. I want to be able to give that information back to up-and-coming athletes, up-and-coming students, to be able to share with them some intricate parts of why I'm able to last this long in a sport that most people are done in 3 to 4 years. Mm-hmm. Why am I able to, articulate and, do certain things and different entrepreneurial like endeavors. How am I able to do that? I want to be able to share that with these, with the next generation. And so I think that's what it's going to look like. And then obviously there are a few organizations out there that, financially, I give back to, and, I'm going to continue to as long as, things continue to go well for me, which, things are, I'm blessed right now. And so that's what, the back end of my career, that's what it looks like. And the closer I get to the end, there's going to be a lot more time put into investing into the youth and the up and coming. So I'm gonna invest a lot of time and effort into the next generation of hoopers and into the next generation of student athletes. And that's what Route 30 is all about. Right. And that's what Route 30 is going to continue to be about. Right.
And when I hear that, I just feel like we should be going around speaking and giving game. As far as Route 30, that's some things that we're going to be doing.
Matter of fact, man, you know what? Listen, to any organizations out there who have a circle of influence of youth or adults or organization or teams that need to learn the route to becoming a champion.
The champion mindset.
I need to know the pillars of sacrificing, giving back, inspiring, what that means, and how to apply that in a business setting, in a sports setting, or in a team setting. Just talk to us. The link is going to be right there. As it was in the beginning, the link is going to be right there. Route30consulting.com. YouTube podcast is going to be Route 30 YouTube channel. It's right there. _Route 30 Instagram. It's all right there.
I
And so
promise
if
you,
you
we
if you
are
need
exceptional.
if
I
you need
promise
some
you.
speakers, we're here for you.
Right.
That's what we
It'll
do.
be a benefit for you, benefit for everyone. I promise you.
And guess what? It's not going to be anything that we made up. I live this life. I'm 36 years old living this life. I'm going to tell you what I know, what I've experienced. I'm not going to tell you what I think. I'm going to tell you what I saw. I'm going to tell you what I experienced. He's going to tell you what he saw. He's going to tell you what he experienced, what he went through. And he can confirm a lot of the things that I'm going to say because he was watching from afar. And I can confirm some of the things that he can tell you because I was watching him from afar. So, yeah, the credibility is there. And Route30Consulting.com, we'll show up to any state, any country. You know, we can get that done, brother.
Yes, and this is just the beginning. So I would say before the price keeps going up, maybe you will want to, because the price is gonna go up. I'm gonna let you know. So right now you can be on the ground level. So just hit us up, and that leads me to this also. So as we spoke about how your favorite trophy, your favorite, what I saw was more as far as being a well-rounded individual outside of sports. Now not just as you playing, you got your two Larrys, you're still a pro, inspiring everybody around the world. But how do you want to be, remembered as a person outside of being an athlete?
Well, being an athlete is going to be part of it. I mean, there's no hiding that. But I would like to be remembered, as a person who was genuine, who was loving, a person who took care of his responsibilities. Those are the things that I care about. A man who don't take care of his family is not a real man. So I want to be known as a person who took care of my responsibilities. A man who's loving, loving to my family, loving to my friends, loving to my community, just a loving individual, a man that's responsible, a man who gives back, who gives back, even though he maybe don't have to. And so those are the things that I really care about, because the people who we remember the most are not the people who accomplished the most. Most of the people who are remembered are the ones who gave the most. Mm-hmm. I mean, just think of any person that you remember. They probably gave millions and billions of dollars for philanthropy, or they probably had such inspirational lives and speeches that people can't forget about. Just think, Black History Month. Martin Luther King sacrificed a lot. He gave a lot. Mm-hmm. That's why the Black community loves him and appreciates him. Of course, not to be, I don't force religion on nobody, but Jesus Christ, he gave a lot. He gave the ultimate price. That's why he's remembered the way that he is, And then there's plenty of other people that we can go on and on that's like, we love them not for what they accomplished for themselves. We admire those people because of what they did. People love Michael Jordan because of how he played, but ultimately people love Michael Jordan because how he made them feel. Mm-hmm. That's why people wanted to be like Mike, and same for the athletes of today. People want to, be like LeBron or be like Patrick Mahomes, not because of how good they are, even though they're great, but it's because of how they make you feel while they're in their greatness. It's like, man, I want to be able to do that. Man, that's amazing. Man, he has a school that he's giving back to. Man, Patrick Mahomes makes, I didn't know quarterbacks could play like that. Because there was a time where quarterbacks didn't look like him, they didn't play like him. And so how they gave that feeling to you is why we love those people. Mm-hmm. And so I want to be a person where they can be like, man, he gave his best effort, he was loving, he took care of his responsibilities, and he gave back. That's how I ultimately want to be remembered.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah.
And then I'll say that because we are, there's giving back physically, there's giving back game, which is what we do. There's giving back all that. So for me, I definitely want to say, I think every man should ask himself that question, how he wants to be remembered, all of that. Because what you want to do is you can write that down, mm-hmm. and you can start living life that way. All right.
Absolutely.
So maybe
Bro,
you
you
don't,
just gave some free game
you
for
feel
real,
me?
bro.
So you shouldn't wait to, I mean, you and I are relatively young, 35, 36, but I don't think you should get to an older age, 50s, and think, how do I want to be? Well, you gave a lot of life. All right. You already gave a lot of life. People are already
And
going
you
to
can't
have
go
memories
back.
of you. You
You
go
cannot
back.
restart the
there are no
clock.
do-overs, no mulligans. You feel me? So I would say more so think about how you do want to be viewed, how you think people want to remember you. And then start living life like that. I think once I did that, it kind of changed a lot for me. Like I said, it changed how I wanted to live, changed the work I wanted to do, changed the people I wanted to work with, changed my confidence as far as, hey, I think I need to jump out on a limb because I just wanted life to be a lot bigger, and I can't live normal. And I don't want to say normal. I just like average just does not feel right. And the people that know me, like yourself and everyone else, my personality, the way I think, it just does not feel right. So I know how much I wanted to help. I know how much I wanted to give back. I know how much I wanted to lift other people up. You know what I mean?
So you start living in your purpose.
Yeah. So once I did that, I started living life way differently, and my thoughts started to be different. So if I'm gonna give some game, I'm gonna say, think about that. Write that down. There's power in writing things down. You write that down, and then you can read that every single day, and then think about how you're gonna achieve that, and then live every day that same exact way. And that's definitely the game that I would say. But this was a great spot. We definitely talked about giving back here at the Route 30 podcast, and we definitely want you guys to remember, it doesn't matter how small or how big it is, just make sure that you're giving a contribution to others as far as giving back, because you don't know what seed that's going to plant. There's a lot of people that I've seen do things that have inspired me, and they don't even know, so I would say keep living in your purpose and keep giving back. Whether it's the way you speak, whether it's the way you act, the way you move. I mean, I do know people in my life that ask me, how do you inspire others? Like, what do you do? And I say, I just live the way I'm supposed to live. I do things very disciplined.
Living is the best example, bro.
Exactly. And then I'll get messages on social media like, bro, you're inspiring me to run those 2 miles every morning. Bro, you're inspiring me to go to the gym. And then I'll show that particular, those people, like, this is how I do it. It doesn't have to be I'm out giving speeches and trying to inspire people. No, I'm living exactly how I'm supposed to live. And those people see what it does. They see what I look like. They see how I feel. They see how I speak. And it's like, listen, you can be the same way. So if I was to give back anything right now, it'd be all that too.
Before we end, you just made me think about something. I want to thank a certain organization and the CEO of that organization because they played a big part, in my life. My professional life. Shout out to Gail Nelson. He's the CEO of Miami Big Brothers Big Sisters. And that's one of the organizations that I give back to, that I give my time and resources to. He's done a great job of building Miami Big Brothers Big Sisters up. And I wanted to make sure I gave him a special shout out because he's one of my mentors.
Okay, that's good.
Who, he poured into me some information, not about basketball, but about the mentorship space, about the leadership space, about the donation space, about the foundation space. He taught me a lot of lessons, and he's still teaching me. He's a mentor of mine, like I said. He's still teaching me about, that space in life. He's one of the best mentors out there, but I'm thankful that he's my mentor, one of my mentors. And so shout out to Gail Nelson, Miami Big Brothers Big Sisters, because that organization is one of the organizations that helped me resonate in Miami. Obviously, I was a player. People, love the flat top, and all that. But that was one of the organizations in the community that I was able to actually touch the ground and understand what's really going on in Miami. And that was a big part to, he's also my brother in Christ, but my mentor, Gail Nelson. So shout out to Gail Nelson. Shout out to Miami Big Brothers Big Sisters.
Shout out to them for sure. And I guess here at the Route 30 podcast, that concludes this episode. Hopefully you got some game. Don't worry, you got past episodes and future episodes. You can get all the game that you could possibly.
Make sure you sacrifice. Make sure you give back. And of course, make sure you inspire.
You sound like Reading Rainbow. That's what's up. Yeah, make sure you do all that and do it to your best of abilities. And myself, Mr. Scottie B, and 2-time. We are out.
We out.